This is the story of the most expensive impulse purchase in human history. $44 billion, initiated by tweet. In April 2022, the richest man on Earth offered to buy his favorite app, which sounds fun, until you know he spent the next 6 months trying to return it. He couldn't. A court in Delaware, a state most famous for having no sales tax, made him complete the purchase. Full price, no refunds. Within 2 years, the thing he was forced to buy had lost most of its value, so he did the only logical thing left. He sold it to himself. This is file number 3, the $44 billion impulse purchase. And yes, every part of it is documented. That's the best part. To understand 2022, you need 2018. Meet the buyer. Rockets, electric cars, more money than several countries, and one phone that nobody could take away from him. August 2018, he tweets that he's thinking of taking Tesla private at $420 a share. And then, 2 words that lawyers still use to scare their children.
I'm considering taking Tesla private at $420. Funding secured.
The funding was not secured. The SEC, the people whose entire job is checking that funding is in fact secured, sued him for securities fraud within 2 months. The settlement? $20 million in fines for him, $20 for Tesla, his chairman's seat gone, and a company lawyer had to pre-approve his market-moving tweets. The press called it a Twitter sitter for a grown man, worth $200 billion. Oh, and the SEC asked why 420 exactly. Per the official complaint, he'd recently learned the number was a weed joke and thought his girlfriend would find it funny. $40 million for a punchline. Remember this pattern. Tweet first, paperwork later. It's coming back with a much bigger number. Early 2022, quietly, the buyer starts purchasing Twitter stock. By April, he owns 9.2%, more than anyone else on the planet, including the guy who founded it. Twitter's board offers him a seat at the table. He says yes. Then, over one weekend, he says no, because a board seat comes with rules, and he had a much better idea. We know the exact moment it turned. It's in the court files. Twitter's CEO texts him respectfully that public tweets like, "Is Twitter dying?" aren't helping the company. The reply, verbatim.
What did you get done this week?
3 days later, an offer for the entire company, $54.20 per share, $44 billion total. His letter called it, and I quote,
Best and final.
And if that 420 at the end looks familiar, congratulations, you've been paying attention. The money? $13 billion borrowed from banks, billions more from selling Tesla stock, and the rest from friends. Here's Larry Ellison's actual text when asked if he wanted in.
Follow-up question: how much?
The answer?
$1 billion, or whatever you recommend.
$1 billion, committed by text, faster than most people pick a restaurant. Nobody asked to see a business plan. Hold that thought. Twitter's board panicked, deployed a poison pill to block him, and 11 days later accepted the offer unanimously. Turns out principles have a price, and it's $54.20. Now, the contract. He waived due diligence. That's the part where you inspect what you're buying. Skipped it. And he signed a clause called specific performance. If he tried to walk away, a court could force him to complete the deal. Both of those facts are about to matter enormously. Then the market crashed. Tech stocks fell off a cliff. Tesla, the source of his fortune, dropped hard. And suddenly, $44 billion for an app that had rarely turned a profit felt like a lot. May 13th, he tweets that the deal is temporarily on hold over spam bots. One small problem. $44 billion contracts do not have an on-hold button. He'd signed the one he signed. The claim: Twitter has way more fake accounts than the 5% it reports, which would be a great thing to check during due diligence, the part he skipped, on purpose. in writing. Twitter's CEO posts a long, patient, professional thread explaining exactly how they measure spam. The buyer's complete, entire response to this thread was a single poop emoji. July 8th, his lawyers send a letter terminating the deal. Twitter's board answers with the corporate equivalent of, "See you outside." They sue him in Delaware, within 4 days, to force him to buy them. Read that again. A company suing a man to make him purchase it, against his will, for the full price he offered. History does not record a clearer case of, be careful what you tweet for. The Delaware Court of Chancery. No jury, one judge. 230 years of case law that boils down to a single sentence. You signed it, you pay it. The judge, Chancellor Kathleen McCormick, sets an expedited trial for October. His legal position? The company I'm contractually bound to buy has bots. Her expression in every report from the courtroom? Unmoved. And then, discovery. That's the phase where both sides hand over their private messages, which is how the group chat of the world's richest men ended up published in a court docket for everyone to read. And everyone read it. October. Days before he has to testify under oath, the buyer folds. He'll buy Twitter after all. Original price? $54.20. No discount. 6 months of the best lawyer's money can buy achieved. In total, nothing. October 26th. He walks into Twitter headquarters carrying an actual porcelain sink and posts the video with the caption,
Let that sink in.
$44 billion. And the pun came free. The next day, the deal closes. And
The bird is freed.
within hours, he fires the CEO, the CFO, and the top lawyers. For cause, so he wouldn't owe them severance. They sued him for about $128 million. Of course they did. Everyone in this story sues everyone. Now he owns it. Time to make the numbers work. Step 1. Costs. Half the staff, gone in a week. Then more rounds. By his own count, headcount fell about 80%. The office espresso machine never stood a chance. Step 2. New revenue. Verification checkmarks. The blue badge that proved you were really you, now for sale. $8 to anyone with any name. What could possibly go wrong? Within a day, a verified account named Eli Lilly, the pharma giant, tweeted this. It was
We are excited to announce insulin is free now.
not Eli Lilly. Insulin was not free. The real company apologized publicly and paused its Twitter advertising. Somewhere out there, one anonymous person got the best $8 of entertainment ever sold. Advertisers were 90% of Twitter's revenue, and they were watching all of this. They left in rows. By the owner's own statement, ad revenue dropped about 50%. The plan to make the numbers work was making the numbers worse. So in November 2023, on stage, on camera, he sent the fleeing advertisers a carefully crafted diplomatic message. He said it
Go f yourself.
twice, while the CEO he'd hired specifically to win advertisers back sat in the audience, watching her job description evaporate in real time. The scoreboard. Fidelity, one of the investors, legally required to value its stake honestly, kept marking it down. By late 2024, their math put the company more than 70% below the purchase price. The banks, meanwhile, were stuck holding $13 billion in loans they reportedly couldn't sell, described as the worst deal of its kind since the 2008 crisis. The bill had arrived. Everyone at the table was pretending not to see it. Oh, and the bird? Dead. In July 2023, he renamed Twitter to X. Analysts estimated the Twitter brand alone was worth billions. Deleted. For free. The $44 billion purchase no longer even had the name he paid for. And then, March 2025, great news. X gets acquired. The buyer? A company called XAI. Owner of XAI? Him. He sold his impulse purchase to himself at a price he set, $33 billion, or $45 if you count the $12 billion in debt. When no one else will name your price, there's always one bidder left in the room. So, did he lose 11 billion? More? Less? Depends whose number you believe. Fidelity's, his, or the only bid on the table, which came from the seller. 400 years ago, the Dutch had a name for trading things at prices only believers would pay. They called it the wind trade. At least they got a flower, because that's the real file here. Not one man's shopping habits. It's what happens when I want it collides with you signed it. The contract didn't care about the rockets, the fortune, or the 200 million followers. Delaware doesn't do vibes. So the next time you're about to buy something at 2 in the morning that you absolutely do not need, relax. You can return yours. Nobody's going to make you keep it. That's a privilege worth exactly $44 billion.